another episode of Strategic Minds Making Money Move, where we have those strategies to do what? Make that green. I am so excited today to have Miguel Blanco with me, and we're going to talk about his business, what he does, and talk about ways to reach that audience. How do you truly expand your connections to get to that audience? Welcome, Miguel.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. I'd love for you to share with the audience a little bit about your business.
Well, my business is Corporate Medicare Solutions. We are a full-service Medicare broker agency. And what we do there is we help people who are turning 65 or who are already 65 maximize their Medicare benefits.
Oh, okay. So what's the difference between you as a broker and just going to Medicare? Tell me a little bit about
Well,
that.
as a broker, you have the ability to choose plans for your client. Medicare also has different types of plans and different types of benefits that are accessible to the individual when they're eligible. So they need a broker to let them know exactly where they fit.
Understood. Okay. So not that we're going to talk about that because I'm sure I got many, many years before we get there. Okay. Fingers crossed. You won't tell anybody. But I'll definitely have to keep this in mind as we continue to talk about Medicare benefits. So share with the audience what strategy you'd like to discuss today.
Well, I would like to discuss the strategy of the online strategy, understanding that 10,000 people turn 65 every day nationwide. That's a lot of people who turn 65, and that's a lot of people who don't know exactly what to do with the Medicare benefits or how to access their benefits. So in turn, being that we're so regulated by the federal government, I decided to create a website for people to go and get information. So the strategy I want to discuss today is, how do I get these folks to the website?
All right. Well, you know, it's interesting. I was reading an article that talked about people over 65 or in their 60s to 65 years old, how much do they get online? Mm-hmm. And can you believe it that over 67% of them are on Facebook? Mm-hmm. They like to go to Facebook. Yeah. They like to use Facebook. And I think what's happening is that as they're getting older and they're getting grandchildren and they're getting others and they want to stay connected, they continue to do that.
Exactly.
And so I think that when you begin to think about, how do I get this message to them? Who do I go to? And how do I make that happen? Let's think about churches, right? So churches have health events, right? They may have a health event. You want to be there. You want to be able to talk to them about Medicare and what's happening. The other thing is get to those people that are like 63, 64, that are going to be turning 65 quickly, that in terms of planning, so they understand what it begins to look like, because it's also an education process.
Definitely.
But you can go to churches and go to their healthcare events. I will tell you there are a number of associations that are specializing in healthcare. And as we're living longer and lives are expanding, we need to be able to tell more and more the individuals that are 64 getting ready to turn 65. You know, we talk about the baby boomers all the time, exactly. And we talk about where we are that are actually going to be looking at Medicare in terms of moving forward, so that we know what that means. Exactly. Now, you can't drive anybody anywhere if you don't have a marketing strategy.
Exactly.
Right? And so that marketing strategy has to be comprehensive. We got to think of all angles, not just online, where they are, associations that we can go to, going to healthcare events, senior citizens. When we talk about senior citizens communities, now I happen to know from personal experience that in senior citizens community, because my dad lived in one, that they have many programs where they are begging for people like you. And what they're begging for is they've got communities that are about to turn that age and they want to offer a value add. So they're looking for people to come in and say, look, I can do a program for your residents and help them to understand this, that, and the other about what we can do with Medicare, right? And start to target that audience in terms of the senior communities. The other thing is we talk about recreations. You know, the senior recreation centers where they go in to work out and do their things. There's a number of programs, even if you go to the Y. Yeah. There's programs at the Y that, you know, are targeted just for senior citizens. Go to these organizations and partner with them. Talk about a program that you can offer. It's not just merely I'm a broker to help you.
Exactly.
If I can go online to Medicare and get it, then why come to you?
Mm-hmm.
That's not the issue. The issue is I'm customizing everything you need that's best for you and keeping your best interest in mind,
Exactly.
right? In terms of making that happen. So I think, those are some of the places that we can go to make that happen. How long has your website been out? How long have you been in business?
Oh, I've been in business since 2018 as a broker, but I've been in the industry since longer than that.
Okay,
Um, but we launched the website in August of last year,
okay,
so it's fairly new.
okay,
It's fairly new.
okay. All right. And so do you offer any free worksheets on the website that people can go and get a preliminary look of what they may look for, or any inventory or anything like that you could give them potential solutions like, come to this website, you can answer these questions, and you might want to look at part of this, part of that, call us and we can help you determine what that looks
Exactly.
like.
What we do is we do webinars.
Okay.
Medicare is very regulated, so there's a lot of things that we
Yeah,
just can't
do.
do.
Mhm.
So we try to keep it very broad. So we invite folks to come and listen to the education. We publish educational articles and scenarios that are educational for the individual so that they can see themselves in that situation and they can make a wise decision based on that. And that's what the website is for.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Well, that's good because what you're doing is you're offering something to them to get something in return, right? In terms of moving forward. And with it being very new on your website, we do have to begin to think about those strategies as we continue to move forward.
Exactly.
So we're going to take a station break. And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about how do we dive in a little bit deeper to get a little further.
Excellent.
We're going to take a station break. We'll be right back.
Strategic Minds, Making Money Moves with Vicki Wright Hamilton focuses on helping entrepreneurs to overcome their business challenges to help increase their bottom line. Each episode provides strategies for growth and transformation. Watch Vicki share her 20-plus years of experience as a corporate executive to help entrepreneurs level up.
Welcome back. I think this is so interesting as we start talking about brokering. I've always wondered, look at when somebody's brokering a service or providing something to you, how do you best take advantage of it, as you begin to move forward. So you said you have a marketing strategist that you're working with, correct?
Yes.
And have you built out that strategy for getting people to the website? What has been some of the thoughts of things that you've tried?
Yeah, well, the strategy is two-pronged. We have an engagement strategy, and through the engagement, we direct people to the website. And that engagement strategy is through physicians, to providers. So we're a provider marketer. We try to market through the providers as opposed to marketing to the individual because of the regulations. Exactly.
Yes. Okay. So that means that when you're beginning to look at groups that you can partner with, you're really looking at the physicians associations. You're really looking at the healthcare associations. You're looking at organizations that you can funnel your information through to get to the individual.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because what happens is a lot of people don't have that information, but they still have a physician. So when they come with roadblocks, they talk to the receptionist. I can't afford my medicines. My actual insurance is not covering X, Y, and Z. So that receptionist is the one that knows that I can provide the service. So she picks up the phone and calls me. So we market to the provider.
Okay. All right. And have you been able to spread those providers out to within your network, or is it a very concentrated area?
No, it's throughout the network. It's a referral-based business. So somebody in my network will say, hey, physician X may need your services. Because what we do also is that we help the physicians align themselves with the proper carriers that are suited for what they are doing. Because not everybody is suited for everybody. So it's more of a consultative approach as well.
Okay. So do you speak at any healthcare associations of physicians or nurses or doctors or psychologists or, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
I think when I think healthcare, I think broad.
Broad, exactly.
You know, we have a lot of mental health issues and things that are going on. We have drug rehab of things that are going on where people are trying to figure out, you know, what their benefits are and how they can get aid and help and what's valuable and what's not. So do you speak it at all at any?
When given the opportunity, we definitely take advantage of it.
Aha. So are we looking for opportunities to
Yes,
speak?
ma'am. Yes, we are.
All
Always.
right. All right. Well, there is a website out there called Speakers Hub.
Okay.
Okay. Speakers Hub is one that you can go out and join that will help you to be able to put your criteria out there, what you're looking for, the audience you're looking for, in order to be able to understand what's there. Okay. One of the, you know, because then you can target, you know, what you're doing. And then there's, so there's many, you can always go to speakers bureaus. Those are a little bit more expensive in terms of doing, but you can do that. The other thing is when I was talking about associations, most of them have conferences, right?
Yes.
And you might have to start small. And it might be that you're providing a workshop at a conference, and then you go from a workshop to a keynote, you know, and you continue to grow and develop as you're moving forward there, so that you can begin to get those speaking engagements and make it happen. And through those professionals, through those professional organizations. I was curious that from a brokering perspective, with all the regulations, do you have an opportunity to go to corporations that you can actually let them be aware through the healthcare provider? So talk to an organization, this healthcare provider does so-and-so, and we can help to do that? Or is it more the healthcare has to recommend you?
No. The name of my company is Corporate Medicare Solutions. Understanding that those 10,000 people, when they turn 65, they're at work. In this country, in order to have healthcare, you have to be employed. So the transition from from group to Medicare happens in the workplace. So that's my target. Speak to companies who have more than 50 employees. As those employees age in, allow us to educate your employees so they can still continue to work for you. You don't have to downsize because healthcare is too expensive for your key employees.
Oh, that's even, you know, when you think about that target, I even think about ideas of going to certain industries. If you think about manufacturing, and it's a very, you know, it's an older demographic, you know, of a lot of people that are in manufacturing that stay, that, you know, have been there 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, et cetera, that have been there a long time. I think about other industries that we're working in, and they're looking for older employees with all that industry knowledge and wisdom to help to make it happen. Now, if it's anybody over that size of a company that you're looking for in moving forward, the opportunities are endless, right? And so I would love to understand do you have a sales model that you're using at all in terms of being able to get to these companies, or going to any events where the HR professionals are that do HR benefits, et cetera? Do you have any of that yet?
Right now the strategy, we're doing it all on LinkedIn, through the groups on LinkedIn, using a lot of social media in order to get them to become aware of the service. A lot of HR professionals who, when their employees become Medicare eligible, they just give them the 800 number. It's not an actual process that they have in place. So we're trying to help them identify the process, if not provide them with that process, in order for them to always transition their employees from group to Medicare seamlessly.
Okay. You know, there's organizations like SHRM, the Society of Human Resource Management, and things like that. I don't know if you have investigated any of those and looking at when they have their specific conferences around benefits, right? Strictly dealing with HR benefits, right? In terms of going to their conferences and dealing with benefits, because those are the ones that are going to help make the decision, right? And they're the ones that really need to be involved in making that happen. And even when you do your webinars, targeting your audience to your webinars to those HR professionals in benefits, so that they can therefore come and say, oh, I have an opportunity that I can help you here, or I can help you there, that kind of thing in terms of moving forward. And then you can begin to look at those companies, because there are so many I mean, when you think about all of the different industries and companies, I mean, I think about, oh my gosh, everybody has aging employees,
Yes,
right?
yes,
In
yes.
terms of moving forward and what they
Totally.
need. We're going to take a station break. And when we come back, I'll have a few more items to share, and then we'll see if we have a question from the audience. We'll be right back.
Strategic Minds, Making Money Moves with Vicki Wright Hamilton focuses on helping entrepreneurs to overcome their business challenges to help increase their bottom line. Each episode provides strategies for growth and transformation. Watch Vicki share her 20-plus years of experience as a corporate executive to help entrepreneurs level up.
Welcome back. As we were talking about, this is really an interesting subject as we talk about having a Medicare broker and really understanding the rules and the regulations, that are around it and who you can sell to and who you can't and how you move it forward, et cetera, in terms of making it happen. I had another idea as I was thinking about your effort, especially when you start talking about getting into businesses. A lot of businesses either have an intranet site or a newsletter, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
It would be great to have articles and things that are on that to help people, to help the organization as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if a HR benefits person says, you know what, we really would like to use it so it can be seamlessly, can you provide us information to help us to make it seamlessly? And then being able to provide those kind of articles and information even on their systems. So it's coming through the company, but it's getting educated to the individual,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
So that they can continue to keep that knowledge
Exactly.
and understand and move forward. It's really, I also think about globally, right? Do you have to learn, are you global or is Medicare strictly US? A lot of people have questions about that.
Yeah, you have your expats. I think that's what they call people who move to other countries, but they're still U.S. citizens. That's a big population, and that's why the website is so critical, because a lot of people move to other places, and if there's a website, I'll give you an example. People who move to Latin America, healthcare is cheaper there, but when they get a little bit older, they have to come back because they want detailed healthcare, and they find out that they didn't apply for Medicare adequately, they're doing it too late, they have penalties. So it's important to reach out to the people who live outside of the United States but are citizens as well. So it's a big move for us.
So are there organizations that you go through to be able to get that message out? How do you reach those constituents?
I go to the consulates.
Okay.
I go to the consulate. And then, right now I'm really focused on the Latin America segment, being that I'm bilingual, and that's one of my core competencies. So I go to the different consulates for the different countries and offer them the service and let folks know that they can have their Medicare services taken care of.
Well, it's interesting. Don't stop your reach in terms of marketing efforts. Here it really opens up a different demographic and area for you.
Totally.
As people are leaving and then want to come back, to get that Medicare. That's very, very interesting that kind of opportunity even exists. Right?
Yeah.
In terms of making it happen and reaching those constituents as you move forward. The other thing, what about travel companies? Companies because a lot of senior citizens like to travel. It's like, look, I paid my dues, I've worked, I've done what I had to do. I want to travel, I want to go have some good time, right? I want to live the last part of my life just seeing the world and doing things like that. And as they begin to move in that direction, those companies of travel agencies and things like that you can partner with that have those kinds of special travel programs. I know there's a number of them that specialize in helping senior citizens to go see what they want to see or travel where they want to go. That's another avenue,
Totally.
Potentially
Totally.
that you could target.
Those folks this is different facets to our strategy. The website itself, the audience of the website is the audience of those travel companies. So when we start getting the traffic that we want, we'll target those companies, but for advertising purposes, so they can promote themselves among our audience as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a whole nother.
And see, that's the other thing. That's true. Sponsorships, advertising, all of that is there too, but you got to get them to the site, right?
Yeah.
So in order to get them to the site, you got to have something attractive to them that's going to make them want to go to the site,
Exactly.
right? It's a great strategy to have, once they know you and get advertising. And you can get advertising from them, for your website.
Exactly.
I mean, let's talk,
Yeah.
in terms of, we offer this and looking for ads, just like you can companies.
Exactly.
Companies that have a major aging population and things like that. You can also do that to get sponsors.
Exactly.
But we got to first make them aware.
And that's the key.
Right. And I think that through all of your social media that you're doing to make them aware, speaking engagements that you can do, and looking at those areas, a speaker hub and others, whether it's a speaking agency or something else, can also help you in terms of moving forward.
Excellent.
All right. Let's see if we have a question or a comment from the audience.
Hi, my name is Trace Gador. I'm with The One in Me. And a question I have, being that I'm Hispanic personally, you mentioned you also have other clients, Latin America. Do you personally speak a different language, or do you have agents as well? Also, do you have a checklist for those agents, for those customers in multi-language as well, to know what they will need to see if they qualify for your services?
Definitely. My agency is a bilingual agency. 80% of my agents are fluent in English and in Spanish. So we have the ability to help folks in Spanish. And we have other agents that are Korean, so they are able to help with that particular language or any dialects that are native to Korea. So yes, to answer the question, we do help folks.
Okay. And you print in those languages too?
Not the website. These are the agents themselves are multilingual, so they're able to help. The carriers print their information in language.
Okay.
Because as we're broken, we make sure that if, let's say for lack of use, the anthem comes through, that we make sure that anthem has literature in Korean, literature in Spanish, literature in Vietnamese for our clients. Yes.
Okay, awesome. So when you have international clients that you are bringing to the website, it's really the brokers that are coming in, and they make sure that the languages are applicable to the client that they're servicing.
Yes.
That's very, very interesting. I'll tell you, this is a truly an interesting opportunity when you begin to think about all the different elements. And I think that as you're putting your strategy together, as I walk through each process, and you want to target companies, looking at those companies that have, more employees that have a large aging population, working through them in their HR benefits areas, and getting that acknowledgement. Your speaking engagements, being able to do that. And even when you work through HR, and understanding what's there, as you mentioned, we never want to leave the opportunity to get an advertiser, someone who's going to sponsor you. And you may even do it as a sponsorship of a webinar. So you might say, I'm going to do this webinar, and it is sponsored by X company, as we continue to move forward, in terms of doing that, because it'll also help you, with ad revenue, and not to mention the exposure.
Exactly.
And then, your agents getting speaking engagements. Having your agents speak in their local areas as well becomes an opportunity, and it's not just on you, but they're able to speak to help, to make things happen as well. And it takes you to that next level.
Yeah.
And then I love your approach as you're talking about, the two-prong approach to the website and what you're trying to do. I would just encourage you to leverage as much as you can in terms of all of those entities that have senior citizens, right? And that we are targeting them in terms of moving forward. And I know that, if you can't go to the individual themselves, and you have to go through an entity to actually get there, working through those physicians, doctors, dentists, psychologists, chiropractors, all the rest of them, all of them in that medical field.
Definitely.
That are trying to help to move forward. Rehab facilities. Yeah. So I'm excited to hear more about where the organization is going and where things are happening. Can you join me in thanking my guest today, Miguel? Thank you so much for joining this episode of Strategic Minds Making Money Moves, where we tell those strategies and make that green. Look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Goodbye.